Right now, I have to stop saying.
Coming up tonight on the DLLS Stars Pregame Show ahead of Game 3, we talk with our intrepid beat reporter who's been having a day, but he's in Denver, and we're going to talk to Sam, and we're going to get all the breakdown from Luds, why Game 2 was great, what they hope for in Game 3. Let's get it started. It's Pregame Show time here on DLLS.
Get ready, boys.
This is the DLLS Stars Pregame Show. Our Stanley Cup playoff coverage is brought to you by Bud Light. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy responsibly. And by Happiest Hour. Check out Happiest Hour for the best spot to watch the NHL playoffs. Good evening, everybody. I'm Owen Newkirk. To my right is Craig Ludwig, the two-time Stanley Cup champion. And in Denver tonight, actually, before we leave Dallas, let's say hi to John, our producer, John Andersen. He's at the controls tonight. Don't blink. You might have missed him. And, of course, the fourth member of our pregame show tonight, all the way out at Ball Arena in Denver, Colorado. It's our very own Sam Nestler. Sam, I want to start off with the day that you have had, because nobody enjoys hearing more about your travel horror stories than our viewers. So can you walk us through a little bit of when it started, how it went, and how it's going right now that you are at Game 3 tonight in Denver?
Sure. Yeah. I had plenty of time on the schedule. My flight was at 6 a.m. So woke up at 4, got to the airport, I believe 5 o'clock, got on the plane at 5:30, was scheduled to land around 7:20, which local time, which gave me tons of time before Colorado skated, before Dallas skated, and to have a little bit of time to, get a nap in and everything during the day. Turns out once we were on the plane, they decided to change all that. And we took 3 trips out onto the tarmac before getting back to the gate. The weather delayed us originally with the lightning storms that were going on in the morning. Then we got delayed for some mechanical reason. Then we had a medical emergency and another mechanical issue, which one of them I fell asleep and just woke up back at the gate. I thought we already landed in Denver. I was like, that was the easiest flight of all time. Turns out we were still in Dallas. So I think it was about a 6.5-hour delay, 6-hour delay before we actually took off sitting on the plane. So we got a lot of Mario Tennis and Mario Golf in on the Switch, which was nice. But eventually made it here. I just was telling Owen before the show, I can't make it up in the Denver airport. The tram I was on to get to the rental car place broke down, and we got stuck on that for about 15 minutes while they fixed another mechanical issue. Then I get to the hotel, and their system had gone down, which allowed me to not be able to check in for an extra 2 hours. So it was an adventure, but I will say this, guys. If you look behind me, I'm at Ball Arena. It's Game 3, Stanley Cup playoff, first round, and I'm just happy to be here. So all the travel aside, very excited to be here and watch this one.
Sam, I know you had some issues with not getting to morning skate because of what you just laid out. But you are there now, and you've been reading all the stuff, I'm sure, and you're caught up with the news of the morning and the early afternoon. And, of course, our staff out in Denver, including Nick, who does a great job, who's based out of DNVR, but did a whole bunch of stuff. We had all the player interviews for the Stars today. Pete DeBoer, Matt Duchene, Oscar Beck was in there. Trying to remember the other one. Oh, Mikko Rantanen. What do you think the reception is going to be like for the Moose tonight? It's not his first time back in Denver, but it's the first time playing against the Avalanche in Denver in the playoffs.
I think they might boo him because of what you just said. He came back, he got an emotional, welcome video and everything like that. Now it's a different animal. Owen and I and Robert and Sean caught up with Scott Wedgwood a bit, and he said it. Kiviranta said it. You really can't have friends and the buddy, and as fans, you feel the same way, right? You love this player. He brought a lot to your franchise. He won a Stanley Cup for you, but he's the enemy right now. And if you're, quote unquote, rooting for Mikko Rantanen to succeed, that it comes at the cost of the home team that you're rooting for. So I feel we might get some boos when he touches the puck tonight. And he mentioned it. Pete said it again today. He said it over and over again. Mikko continues to say, this is business as usual now. This is it's been in the past. It's in the rearview mirror. Everything that I went through. Now I'm with the Dallas Stars. It's the Stanley Cup playoffs, Stars, Avs, and he's excited to go. So I've been saying over and over again, we've seen glimpses of what he can do. Could be a breakout one for him tonight because he has been getting closer and closer. And as we're going to talk about in a second here, he's maybe finally found a line that he's clicking with a little bit better.
I agree with you, Sam. And there were points in the second game, I felt later in the game, in game 2, where Mikko was taking his runs at some of them guys on the other side. I think it had a lot to do with being more engaged and involved in a little tweak of the lines and things like that. Let me ask you, do we have a confirmation on their captain coming back?
According to ESPN, it is confirmed that he will play. Now, I'm going to give the big asterisk on that because last time he was supposedly confirmed to play, but it was reported that he actually did a little mini video interview, I think, with ESPN. It sounds like he is a go, and he'll go in the lineup. The only thing I know Jared Bednar has said, they want to make sure after warm-up that he's good to go. So if for any reason something happens in warm-up, all of that can change. But it sounds like the plan is for Landeskog to come back in tonight. And honestly, the thing with it that is kind of, pushed aside a little bit is the emotional lift that he brings. All the on the ice stuff. If he's anywhere near Gabriel Landeskog, don't forget he was one of the big 3-4 guys here when he was at his best and helped them win the cup in 2022. But the off-ice stuff, it reminds me of the Steven Stamkos return in, I believe it was game 4 of that 2020 final against Dallas. Comes back in, the Lightning came out just on fire. Stamkos scored a goal early in the game. I don't think he took another shift because of his injury, but it just brought that team to a new level. And that was a massive swing game that basically pushed the Stars out of that series and put them in a tough spot. And this is another swing game, right? It's not one that's going to put them up 3-1 or finish the series off. But every time you go up in a series, especially one where it's expected to be tight like this, it's like playing with a lead. You go in, you're up 2-1. It feels a heck of a lot better than being down 2-1. And that's going to be an emotional lift. And Pete DeBoer said, every time we play in this arena, especially in the playoffs, this team comes out. It reminds me of Nashville a little bit, where the first 10, 12 minutes, the crowd's going to be loud. The team's going to be amped up. They're going to be putting pucks on net. Everything's going to feel like a scoring chance, and you can feel like the game's going really fast. You have to weather that storm. With Landeskog coming back, it just amps that up another level. And Dallas is going to really have to be ready. Jake Oettinger is going to have to be ready to weather that original storm. Don't give up more than one goal, if a goal at all, and get yourself back in the game and really settle it down from that moment.
And Sam, the conversation around the team was they didn't really like their first period of game 2 against Colorado. They obviously won the game and played well down the stretch and into the overtime period, but they weren't thrilled with period number 1. And a lot of that, I think, has to do with their discipline right now.
Yeah, it's a funny kind of flip. If you look at Colorado thinks we were much better in game 1. We played well in game 2, but we kind of let it get away from us, right? They played really well for the first period was all them, middle to the second period, and then it started to even out a little bit, and then Dallas kind of took over. I think the way Colorado put it was we were 10 minutes away from a 2-0 series heading home, and we basically blew that. And Dallas, give credit for what they did. They pushed. They found a way to tie that game, and then they found a way to win it, which, as we know, was a massive switch in this series to not be sitting here talking at down 0-2 here. But on the Dallas side, you're exactly right. They did not like their start. They think they got a lot better as the game went on. And this team, everyone that watches them, you can see 5-on-5, they've really looked good against Colorado. If you look at the high danger scoring chances, the quality scoring chances, the shots they're giving up, the shots they're getting, they're creating a lot of chances within that slot area, and they're not giving it a lot of that to Colorado. They're giving Jake a clear sight line on a lot of the shots. It's just been, the problem has been either a penalty, a few too many penalties. We talked about penalties like Mason Marchment's penalties in the first 2 games just can't happen. You cannot take a lazy tripping penalty in the neutral zone. You can't do that. You can allow, a little pull on the jersey to stop a breakaway, or a hook on a guy, on Nathan McKinnon coming down the wings. That's okay. You can live with those, but it's the ones where there's no real chance the turnover is created by his own mistake, that is the type of penalty Dallas just can't have, because right now Colorado's power play it's not necessarily lethal. It's not scoring 3 goals a game, but they found a way to score one each time, and that has been the difference, and that's kept them either in the lead or in games. So for Dallas, focus on the 5-on-5, stay out of the box, and allow yourself to stay in the swing of the game. We've seen a few times now where Dallas has had to have Mikko Rantanen and Sagan and those guys come out and skate some laps during the TV timeouts because they've been sitting so long for double minors or 5-on-3s and things like that. So the Stars cannot afford, it's too good of a team they're playing. They can't afford to allow Colorado to just be rolling, let their big guys touch the puck. The only scoring we've really seen from the big guys on Colorado has been on the power play. So limit yourself to 1 or 2 penalties, and you give yourself a far, far better chance to win this game.
And, the good news for that, and I think eventually they're going to wake up, is Nichushkin and Natchez haven't really, the right side. And Colton's out now. And then you put Wood in there, and he wasn't – that didn't work out too well for him. So I think the right side of the ice. But, I would try to stay away from those penalties also, because you just a matter of time before Natchez and Nichushkin have something to do with one of these games.
Well, Sam, we very much appreciate your trials and tribulations as you got to Ball Arena for today. I'm sure we'll have lots of fun during the post-game show. If you want to hop on during the watch along, which we're going to do wire to wire, maybe during an intermission or something, you're welcome to come on and tell us what kind of snacks you're eating tonight.
We're getting ready here. Sorry, I was just going to say one final thing that I noted. This
Squirrel.
is Jake Oettinger.
That's what I was wondering. Where's that soundbite?
All squirrel right now. There's too much going on in here. But Jake Oettinger was the best road goalie in the playoffs last year. Lead the leading 939 save percentage, 1.72 goals against. He went 6-3, far better than he was at home. I expect Jake Oettinger to be on another level tonight, and they've needed it because he's been good, not great. He's going to have to be great tonight in Game 3.
All right, Sam, be careful with those ears tonight. It's going to get loud. We'll talk to you in the post-game show, if not before.
All right, boys, enjoy the game.
All right, there's Sam Nestler. Before we get to the rest of our pregame show, you have to know that this is the best time to be a diehard. Boy, look at that special. $36 for the first year. It's $3 a month, and you get everything that DLLS has to offer at the top level of access, including, but not limited to, a free t-shirt that is at the choice of your decision-making. So use that QR code down at the bottom of the screen. Scan it. When I say at your decision-making, it's a terrible way to say you get to pick one free t-shirt from our entire DLLS catalog, and that goes to you as part of signing up to be a diehard for your first year. You could be the captain or the Moose, the 2 playoff shirts that debuted, or the Finnish Mafia. A couple of our diehards were saying that they were waiting for a specific size to come back in stock. And my GM, Ben, said there's sometimes you just don't know what's or how long it's going to be replenished. So if you see the one that you want and say, well, I'll kind of wait, or don't sit around. Get to it ASAP, because there's no guarantee that will be re-upped in the size that you're looking for. So go sign up to be a diehard. Get to it now. And there's all sorts of wonderful perks, whether it's all the writing that we have, the diehard-only Discord channel, special discounts on merchandise and events. It is a blast. Plus, every now and then we do a thing with diehards only where we ask Luds anything you want, a little Bloody's Damn Discord channel. We haven't done that for a while. So
Been a blessing.
It's been a minute, but maybe we'll bring it back. And of course, every now and then when we have a special guest in studio, we'll take questions from the diehards, even before the super chats. So we'll do what we can to help make it the best experience possible. And you're never going to get a better deal than that. So use it now and become a diehard. Luds, before we we have a fan from Querétaro in Mexico. Greetings. Luds, before we get to our first break, just quickly on Landeskog, how big of a deal do you think this is going to be? Because it seems like this was always the plan, Game 3.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was going with it from the beginning. I think there was just a little teaser, a little play around, get him in the warm-up in Game 2. I think it depends on, like I said this the other night. If it were me, I would be trotting him out. They're going to have a big jump anyways for the start of the game. That's just natural the way it's going to be, and fans are going to know that he's on the ice and on the bench. If it were me, I'd probably wait, and he's probably going to play on that third line where probably.
That's the guess.
That's a guess. Yeah, I'm guessing they slot him in there to start at least. But I would have him come out as a third liner. I think then you get your first line out there, then you get the Nelson line out there, and then the buzz may start to come down, and then all of a sudden he comes out, and then the buzz is going to go right back up, and then maybe that's a little bump. So, and I'm sure Dallas has talked about all this kind of stuff, that's what's going to happen. But I expect him to be the guy that he was before. I mean, it's not like he's putting this. There's going to be this superstar that's going to go light things up. He just, he's their conscience in the whole game. He does all the little things. He finishes the checks. He back checks. He's in the right areas. If he does get out there in the power play, he spends some time in front of the net, and he's that. I would say that when Jamie Benn was in his prime, I think they'd be kind of similar. Jamie's got more bite and he fights a little bit more, and that's not necessarily Landeskog, but he's a guy that goes through the wall for his teammates, and so it's going to be, especially what he's gone through, very similar to Tyler Seguin, what he's gone through. And when he's tried to come back and he couldn't make it. I mean, it's been, what did they say, 1,000 games or something like that? Or 3 years?
No, 1,000 days.
1,000 days. It's been three
regular
years.
seasons.
So that's
almost 3 calendar years, about 2 years and 9 months.
Yeah. So that's a long time
to be out. It's a long time.
And I think the teammates and the organization and the fans just appreciate the battle that he's gone through to be able to see him come back, whether he plays 8 minutes tonight or 16 minutes tonight. So it's going to be a big boost, and depending on how the game goes for him.
Up next, let's talk about the nitty-gritty, all the details of tonight's Game 3 on the DLS Stars Pregame Show.
Stars fans, how are we doing? Enjoy the game. Should be pretty easy tonight, so don't overthink this. What to wear? Just put on your lucky jersey. Not sure what you're supposed to be serving your friends? It's probably even easier. Go pick up some pizza, grab some Bud Light, and fill up the fridge. See? That easy. Just like Bud Light, which is always brewed with 4 simple ingredients for a clean, crisp taste, Bud Light, it's easy to drink, easy to enjoy. But remember, do it responsibly, 21 and over. Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Let's talk about Sleeper. It is the best fantasy league platform out there. You can put your puck or your ball knowledge to the test by picking whether your favorite or least favorite players will have more or less than their projected stats each week. Tonight, we're going to have our producer John with his picks and his video to show you how easy it is to put a ticket together and what you can do to try to win some money. Because with Sleeper, the more picks you combine, the more you can win, all the way up to 100 times your money. Sleeper keeps you in the loop with instant alerts for breaking news and major injuries. You stay ahead of the game and keep track of league updates in real time, so you're always ready and informed to outsmart your friends. If you think you have what it takes, new users can download the Sleeper app, use the code DLLS Stars to receive $55 in free entries when you place a $5 contest. Apply to any contest, doesn't have to be your first. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states, including Texas. Check out Sleeper today. And now, here's John.
Well, it was a rough outing for Game 2. So what do? You go right back at it again. Nathan MacKinnon has yet to have a game in this series, which he has not scored a goal. So let's go with Nathan MacKinnon to record more than 0.5 goals in this game. And the Moose, Mikko Rantanen, playing against his old team in their barn. Let's take the Moose to record more than 0.5 power play points. And Luds, you're not going to like it, but it's hit in games 1 and 2. We're going to juice the entry a little with Esa Lindell to record more than 2.5 blocked shots. $10 wins
like
the
it.
people.
That's what I like.
He doesn't like it when he goes less.
I don't like it when you stay under.
Thank you, John. All right, Luds, let's get into the details. The Stars won their first hockey game in 2.5 weeks in Game 2. They had won against Nashville on April 3rd and then lost the next 8 straight, including Game 1. What kind of an impact does winning a hockey game for the first time in nearly 3 weeks do to a roster?
I think it's like a piano being lifted off your chest. Personally, I do. I mean, can you imagine if they would have lost game?
No, it would have been doom and gloom.
Yeah, it would have been awful, and the series would probably just be about over. I mean, heading into this building, which is a tough enough place to play, and knowing what's behind you. You know, the only negative side of all that is that they're still giving up 4 goals a game on average over that whole course of the, 9-10 games or something like that. So bottom line is they won the game that they needed to win. They know what they're heading into here. They played enough games here. They played in the playoffs against these guys. They know what they're up against. I look and I think that, again, like we talked with Landeskog coming back, they have to weather that storm. Your goaltender probably needs to be good early. It seems like these guys want to always get 3, 4, 5 shots up in the first 5 minutes, and sometimes we're looking at the clock and it's 5 shots to 1 or something like that. So I think it's an important thing, and again, special teams and goaltending, it's generally what it comes down to. And then as I look at the TV right here, who's stepping onto the ice on ESPN?
Well, and I want to bring that up because Gabe Landeskog was given a solo lap in the warm-ups. For those of you that aren't sure, and of course most of you hockey fans would know, but a solo lap is typically done for a rookie about to make his NHL debut, not a guy that has won a Stanley Cup and has been a captain since he was a teenager. Luds, that to me says it all. The fact that Landeskog did a solo lap to start warmups, unless Jared Bednar is on next level mind games and gamesmanship, he's playing tonight.
Oh, well, his jersey with the letter, the letter meaning the C, was hanging in the stall this morning. So he's coming back. He's back, and again, it's one player. So the veteran guys in there will have things to say about it. And the best thing you can do is start making it difficult on him. Everybody knows what his injury was and what he's gone through. It's no different than what Colorado will be doing for Tyler Seguin and what they're going to do to Miro Heiskanen when he gets back in the lineup. They're going to make it difficult for him. So that's where you start. And if you don't know who to hit and you're not sure of the number, just hit everybody that you see, and eventually you'll get to the right guy.
Let's take a quick look at the Avalanche lineup, if you would, please, John, because since we're talking about Landeskog, I just looked at what the warm-up line tweets from Evan Rawal, who covers them for the Denver Gazette. It's a little... He has Landeskog as being on the left wing with Coyle and Kiviranta on the right, but essentially the same trio. They have Lehkonen with Nelson and Nichushkin, and Drouin with McKinnon and Natchez. And Luds, we saw this morning that they took Val Nichushkin in the morning skate off the first power play unit and put Lehkonen on instead. To me, when you see adjustments like that and like this with Drouin and Lehkonen switching places, it means the coach isn't happy with his forwards.
I didn't think the power play for Colorado, I know McKinnon's got both goals, right? And that's all there was. There's 2 goals.
But it's all Nate.
It's all Nate. And one of them, let's be honest, I mean, the one that was scored in game 2, Jake should have had. I mean, there was clear sight line. It beat him, arm and leg or whatever it was. So I don't think that their power play has looked that dangerous. And so that's what you do. And I've said this before the playoffs started. These games in the playoffs are about adjustments. They're making some adjustments right now. And I think if there's a way to wake up a couple guys that they want to wake up, speaking of Val Nichushkin, you take him off that unit, and maybe that bothers him, and maybe he'll get to the front of the net where there'll be more battles that happen with the Stars defenseman. So, again, I think it's just a matter of tweaks. I mean, we saw Dallas go to it and flip out Dodonov and Rantanen the other night, and it paid off for Dallas. As far as I'm concerned, Rantanen was a different type of player.
Take a look at the defense for the Avalanche because they're also making a change back there. Looks like Sam Malinsky will come in for Eric Johnson. It'll be his first ever Stanley Cup playoff game. I know Malinsky played a lot for them during the regular season, but what do you make from this? Another move. So this is sort of essentially 2 lineup changes and 1 within the lines move by Jared Bednar after game 2 before game 3.
I think there's a little more activity going up the ice. I mean, with Johnson out of the lineup, I mean, he's an older guy, and he's really that steady Eddie guy in the back. And even on the winning goal the other night, he's the one that tripped and fell, and he looked like he was tired. So I just think, I mean, they can lean on 5 guys if they need to. And Cale Makar will be out there most of the night anyways, and Taze is going to be out there. So how that's determined by Malinsky. Now, and again, got to remember, they're in their building now, so that just means they get the last change and they get the matchups that they want.
Take a look at the Stars lines because they are not expected any changes. They made the big swap during the game, game 2 on Monday night. Rantanen up with Hintz and Granlund, Dodonov with Johnson and Ben, and it seemed like it worked for all of the lines.
It did. I mean, I think we're waiting for the Marchment Duchesne Sagan line to kind of pop, and that's probably more about Tyler getting his legs underneath him and after coming back and all those kind of things. So, this really up to now, it's really been about the depth. It's been about the fourth lines. I mean, the Blackwell goal. You look at O'Connor, what he's done in the fourth line for those guys. It really has been the depth. The other lines, maybe they're kind of canceling each other out, but they really haven't done a lot. Even when you go from the plus minus and stuff like that, I looked at their guys, and if I took the same lineups and I went in order, and you look at the McKinnon line, McKinnon, Lehkonen, and Natchez. They're a +6 over these 2 games. And you just match that up with the Stars lines. Now, Hintz, Rantanen, and Granlund over there. That group is a -6. Okay, you get to their second line, which is Drouin, Nelson, and Nichushkin. They're just even. They're just kind of blah. The Duchesne line is a -1. Go to the third line, not so good. You're looking at a -6 on that line. Coyle. Now, Wood was -3 on that line last game.
It didn't win over the fans with his game.
Right, and for Wyatt and Jamie and that line there, they're a plus. They're +1. Now it's when you get to the fourth lines. That Kelly, Drury, O'Connor line is a +8, and then you look at our guys, and unfortunately they're a -2. So the depth lines got it done, but their top guys aren't doing what they're supposed to do, and that's why I wonder if they're just kind of evening everybody out.
So I noticed that this morning there were some guys for both teams that didn't have a point in the series. Now, look, 1 assist in 2 games or whatever isn't necessarily end-all, be-all, but the ones for Dallas do stand out. Rantanen, Duchesne, Granlund, Bork, Bischel, although Bork only played the 1 game, and then Lindell, Lyubushkin, and Petro. Those are the guys that you don't necessarily expect to get points. Right. But the fact that Rantanen is looking for his first point, Duchesne, Granlund, I'm not saying they haven't done good things, but on the other side, the ones for Colorado, like obviously they're big guys. McKinnon has 3 goals already, leading the team in goals. He's tied for the team lead in points. Logan O'Connor has 3 assists. He has 4 points as well. Makar has been fine, but I think if you keep Makar to a couple assists in 2 games, that you're probably feeling like you're doing pretty well with that. But it's Nichushkin, Nelson, Kiviranta, Wood. I know Ross Colton got hurt after game 1, but those guys don't have any points. So of those, anybody in particular that you want to see step up for Dallas or for Colorado from the Avalanche perspective that they should
I don't want any of them.
That's right. Yeah.
I don't want Makar, Nichushkin, and Natchez to wake up. Those are the 3 that I think whatever you're thinking you're doing, however they're controlling Makar. I think Makar's had to be a little too perfect. I think he's got 10 attempts each game, but he's missing the net out. Last game, I thought he was a little bit more dialed in, but I don't think we've seen him dancing around like normal. And you got to give credit to Dallas. They usually have something to do with that if a guy like that isn't doing it. So I think you have to continue to be as difficult with those guys and be as physical as you can. I think with Makar, you're just trying to stop his momentum. Especially when you're putting pucks into their zone, and dump him in his corner, wear him out. Get in and bump him, and then you grab him. And when they counterattack, he's part of the counterattack. He's probably the most impressive and the most important part is the guy that gets up on the play. He carries the puck in. He dances around in the offensive zone. But to this point, they've done a pretty good job against him.
Luds, I was looking at the goaltender numbers after 2 games. Mackenzie Blackwood has a .921 save percentage. Jake Oettinger has an .885 save percentage. Now, when you step back and think about that, I feel like that has more to do with the goals against in game 1, which, of course, weren't all on Jake at all, but then it was his play over, because I think game 2, Jake got a lot better. Do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, the one goal we talked about yesterday was the Drury goal. I thought that he didn't see that one. The one, and again, there was the power play goal from McKinnon. But again, McKinnon does that to a lot of people, so that's hard to do that. So the other guy was really, really good in game 1. Really, really good. And that's where you talk about his save percentage. And, I think Jake is going to have to steal a game here in one of these 2 games, and he's going to have to be on his best. He has to do what he probably needs to, and maybe only allow 1 goal in a game that they're going to have to win, and hopefully that's tonight. And I think that as far as the Avs go at the other end, it was nice to see that Blackwood was scrambling around, and they win that hockey game, and they win it in overtime because the guy, all the talk was he didn't have any playoff experience coming in. He gets an incredible game 1. Well, now maybe that knocks him back a little bit, and there's some of that confidence that you take away from him if he gained anything out of that game 1.
Do you think that Blackwood's propensity to giving up rebounds, Jake's much better at controlling his rebounds than Blackwood. Is that the formula that the Stars go, that's what we capitalize on?
It's the formula as long as they go there.
But they have to get to him.
And that has been your bottom 2 lines. I mean, we see how Jamie played, and we see how the fourth line plays. They play direct. And I just think the whole key to this is playing direct and playing interior. They need to find ways to get on the inside that house in the offensive zone. They can't be on the outside, and I thought they were doing a lot better job of that. And just follow the example of the fourth line guys. They seem to find ways in there. And, and again, for Marchment and those guys on that Duchesne and Sagan line, they may have to do the same thing. they do a pretty good job of keeping people to the perimeter and keeping them out of that high danger chance. They're going to have to play some directness, and they're going to have to get in there and battle in front of the net.
Two more things for you, Lud. Special teams. Both teams have scored power play goals in each of the first 2 games. Yet you said earlier, mostly that's on McKinnon for the Avalanche. What do you think about the Stars power play through 2 playoff games so far?
I've liked it. I mean, I look at it, and again, with Harley back there where he is, that he's getting pucks to the net. Tyler gets a big goal. That's a power play goal that Tyler needed. But I think the same rules apply. I think you just can't be a perimeter team on the power play. You have to find ways to get guys to the front of the net, not just one all the time. Sometimes you can set up in that diamond and you've got Harley back there, and let's say you've got Tyler on one side and Rantanen on the other. I think if you can get Rantanen to start shooting, it'll throw them off a little bit because he likes to get up high. He likes to make the pass. I think he needs to sprinkle in a couple of shots that go to the net, and I think that helps keep Blackwood in his net because I think right now they kind of have a book on him. Obviously they should, but he's got to be a threat to shoot at times and even some poor angles. And obviously Wyatt, right? I mean, I think Wyatt's a big one. Wyatt Johnston is we know the kind of player Johnston is. And so he finds a way to get a goal early. I think now he comes around for the playoffs.
And finally, we talked about it briefly with Sam, but Miro Heiskanen seemingly ticking off the little boxes, one step closer. He got a little bit of time on the second power play unit in morning skate. I know these are small steps. It's not like Landeskog's playing tonight. Miro's not playing tonight. But, Luds, if you asked me a week ago, I'm thinking, and we pretty much said this on the show, he's probably not playing in the first round. Now it feels like he could play as early as maybe game 5, maybe. I mean, I'd be shocked if he played game 4. I guess it kind of depends on how he responds, but they're ramping up the testing and the intensity. He skated for an hour the other day and felt good. Sean reported that Stars sources told him that after skating for that long that he came through it well. It wasn't, he's really sore, he needs some time off. We could see Miro in this series.
Well, I think we're hoping so, but let's kind of temper had some power play time today. There is no resistance on power play. There's nobody out there. There's nobody checking. Nobody's going to hit him. He hasn't been in any drills in practices and skating and where there's any contact. So he hasn't gone through that phase yet. I don't know how much of that he'll go through. So, but yeah, I think that from where we thought 2 to 3 weeks ago that we probably wouldn't see him at all, this is nice. And sometimes this is, just kind of throwing the Heiskanen out there and give him something else to worry about. So, we'll see. We need him back. There's no question about that. But again, I said it the other day. You're not going to bring him back just for the sake of bringing him back.
Right.
There's long-term his career and being that player for Dallas and, for the next 7-10 years or whatever he's going to be around. So you're not going to force him into this. But the longer this series stays close, the better chances I think we can see him.
We were talking with Sam, and it got loud. Right, they were getting ready for Landeskog. It was loud even before he went out for the warm-up. We were talking about the Stars needing a better start, but they are going to face a cauldron of noise. It's loud in the playoffs when you go on the road anyway, but this is going to be like building rattling because of Landeskog and because of this big comeback.
I look at Jake in the first 5-6 minutes of this game being very important, and that's not from the save standpoint. Colorado is surprisingly, you would think with the kind of skill and talent that they have, they are not a team that is a puck possession team coming through the neutral zone into the offensive blue line. They put pucks in, they come in, and they forecheck. And so I think they're going to be all wound up, and they're going to want to get it in, and they're going to want to bump. And I think if there's these pucks that Jake will be able to grab, get out of the net, and maybe move it past the pressure, it kind of calms things down, and they can't get to the game that they want to get to. So, if they don't put pucks in the right areas of the ice, generally soft chips behind or in the corners, where your goaltender can't help you, I think Jake could make a big impact here, and that can take the crowd out of it. It takes the players. I mean, their MO is let's get the puck in, let's go finish checks, and let's throw everything to the net early.
Would you like to see what our general manager Ben is doing to try to pump up our watch along, which is coming up here in a few minutes? Join the watch along tonight, folks, especially if you love Lud's cussing.
Right now, I have to stop. Did he just give me the green light?
On the watch along, which remember is not on our television platform.
Oh, really?
Just on YouTube. He basically is
that.
Advertising that you are going to use profanity throughout the watch along.
I'll be an angel tonight. Don't worry about it.
We will see. I think he wants you to. We have a watch along tonight. We are planning on doing that for every road playoff game. So please join us. Follow the link. John put it out in the chat. And we will be back shortly because it's an 8:52 puck drop. Stars and Avs, Game 3 from Denver, from Ball Arena. Let's see what happens. Remember, the Stars are going to go. If they split Games 3 and 4, they're in really good shape. If they win tonight, you think the Avs and their fans will be a little nervous? I think so. Thanks for joining us on the pregame show. For Luds, for Sam in Denver, for John, I'm Owen. We will see you at the watch-along and, of course, our full post-game show tonight right here on DLLS.
Look me in the eye while I play this, Luds.
I believe that they are going to crush these guys tonight.
We all silly like the mayor.